What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the NBA Hardwood Show. I'm your host, Mangone. I got AP. I got BobbyGomes here. We're talking golf. We're talking baseball, basketball. We got MMA this weekend. We got it all over here at runpuresports.com. Let's kick it off with you, AP. How's it going over there? How are all the games?
Yeah, it's going good. I'm watching golf. As we were talking about, we're all sitting really good except for our Stewart Sink exposure. But I have a little bit of them, so I got a few builds that are definitely live. But, in my main build, I would like it if he pulled back a little bit. I would not mind that at all. So, we got a small slate, but I think it's going to be a good one. I think we can find the winners and make some money tonight.
Yeah, I like the smaller slates. Sometimes you can kind of dive into them a little bit, right? And, sometimes you can get a little creative. I like when it's not the small slates with the Raptors on them, where it's just, hey, you're plugging in 5 of them and then figuring out your 3v3s or whatever. So I think this slate could be a good one. We also have an 8 o'clock lock, right? So obviously some news will be happening. If news does hit, we'll be talking about it in our Discord chat. So be sure to get in it over at Run Pure Sports. Sign up, get your premium membership, and get in that Discord chat. Bobby, I'll head on over to you. How are you doing, sweating all these games today and everything, and get ready for the NBA slate?
Yeah, doing good. Stacked the Cubbies, but left off Baez and Bryant, so kind of tilted about that right now. But I have Contreras. So
how'd you stack the Cubs and not have those two? What happened with the?
I don't know what I was doing, man. I 5-man stacked the Cardinals, and then I had a 3-man of the Cubs.
It makes sense. You had DeJong and Arenado in the Cardinals stack, right?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense then. Okay, there, fair enough. I was confused by it, so that's all. Baseball's awesome. We got tons of great stuff over here at Run Pure Sports. We got baseball, basketball, everything you need. D-Rock giving out his plays. We'll have a baseball show tomorrow morning, so be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe on this video. It helps us out a ton. And if you subscribe, you get the notification when we go live at 11 tomorrow, so you don't forget and don't miss out on all the winners. AP, before we kind of dive into the slate, what are you sweating right now? You're sweating some basketball. What's the thing you're going to watch tonight? Is MMA on the schedule? What are you doing?
I'm such a donkey. I might have to buy that aspirin fight, which I'm gonna regret it instantly. What's gonna happen is that fight's gonna, it's gonna be complete dog shit, and then I'm gonna regret getting it. But no, I'll probably be watching NBA for sure. I think we got one really good game. I'm looking forward to Warriors Celtics. I think that's going to be a really good game tonight. So I'll probably be watching that, and then I might have MMA on the other channel.
All right, yeah, I'll be watching as well. I think those are the two I'll be switching between. AP, before we dive in, give a little slate overview here, because again, Bobby said it's a smaller slate, and I like the smaller slates. How are you kind of attacking this one?
Yeah, so I think there are 2 spots I really like on this slate. I think there's a couple spots that we can avoid. But I mean, honestly, it's we got the Pistons Wizards, which, that's just been a great spot for us to attack. Westbrook's been phenomenal. He was phenomenal again last night. Detroit's been a nice source of value. I think we get that again tonight. Not necessarily the lock value plays we had last night, but we get guys that are underpriced. And then I think we get a Warriors-Celtics game where the Celtics are going to run out of a tight rotation. We got Jaylen Brown that was downgraded to questionable. So, if he misses, we got at least 2 guys, studs, that we got to lock in on the Celtics side. And I think it just makes this slate a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting slate. And the lock times, they're a little spread out, right? So we got 8 o'clock, we got 2 games. We got an 8:30 game, a 9 o'clock, and then a 10 o'clock game. Let's dive in and let's talk about the games here. First one up, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Chicago Bulls. And AP, I saw you in the Discord chat. You were talking about the Bulls a little bit, and they have been getting destroyed lately, right? I think they've lost 5 in a row. They're minus 100 with Vooch on the court, I think you were saying. So, this is a spot where you want to attack some of these guys because no Zach LaVine is obviously going to be good for this team, right? You have opportunities here with Kobe White, who, if he is starting, he is going to be someone that I'll be all over. Satoransky was ruled questionable early in the day, and with no LaVine, Vucevic is another guy you have to consider. The Cavs are playing a little bit better basketball here. I think you want to get some Bulls in your lineup, though. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think so. If Satoransky misses, he sat last night. I think I think Kobe White is like a lock button type play in this matchup. He looked really good last night, and it's rightfully so. Like, he hasn't had a good year at all. And so it's just, this is his time to step up on a team that's just struggling. And he looked good last night. And I think you can, like, what I would probably do is consider pairing him and Vucevic. I just think they're smash plays. They're going to, Vucevic is going to have little resistance against this Cavaliers front court. The only problem, and I'm really interested to see from a cash standpoint how you feel about this Mangone, but there are a lot of center plays tonight. Like, I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential center spots that are legit considerations on this slate. So some of them value, some of them spend up. So it's going to be interesting on a site like DraftKings.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can go at the center position today. So like obviously you can spend it for Vucevic, but the problem I have, and I don't know if this held, but I was talking about it a little bit in the Discord chat last night. Jokic did great, right? 65 fantasy points. He was awesome. But the problem I noticed, at least in the $555 GPP, and of course, not everyone here is entering it. I don't know what the last night's score was for, like, maybe the $15 or the $4. But in that contest, Jokic wasn't even on the winning team, right? And the reason why he was not on the winning team was because the value centers absolutely crushed, right? You had Gafford, who had 33, and you had Stewart, who had 50. And you just did not need to have Jokic in there. And the problem, again, is you can only roster 2 centers. And, like, at times you need to have 3 guards. And sometimes 4 guards is the most optimal route to go. And that's why Westbrook popped in there more than a guy like Jokic. Of course, overtime helped Westbrook as well. But that's part of the construction process. So you bring up great points when it comes to the centers. And that's why, I mean, sure, Valanciunas could have a big game, but you might not want to spend 7.9K. You might not want to spend that 9.8K on a guy like Vucevic. Of course, he's going to get all of this run. He's going to be in a great spot for usage. But I just think those cheap centers are going to be the way to build. And I don't know if you want to go all the way to the top. You can make a case that it could be a contrarian route to go. So I'll bring in Bobby here. Are you going to do the spend up contrarian route? Because I personally think you just want to spend down at the center position and then find a different way to get different.
Yeah, cheap centers are definitely the way to go in cash. I'm kind of in lockstep with AP. I think Nikola Vukovic is a good play. If Levine sit, like if Satoransky is going to sit, Kobe White gets a start. I like Kobe White. Like, those are guys I think would pop. And then Gary Temple, I think, is another guy who I'd consider for cash games. But tournaments, yeah, I like spending up for Vooch. I think at 9,800, he's a good play and differentiates your construction whenever everyone's probably going to be paying a little down with all the center values. So definitely like Vooch as a tournament play.
Yeah, AP, so we talked about those value centers a little bit. Like, do you think going to Vucevic is going to for sure be worth it in tournaments compared to cash? Like, cash games, I'm telling you, I'm probably spending down at center. It also depends on the guys you're spending up on too as well, right? So, like, sometimes we just talk about the position, we talk about the player, but how do you grade out a guy like Vucevic to spend up for compared to some of these other guys, right? Because typically we have spend ups that are really good. And on this slate, yes, we have Westbrook, we have Curry, we have some guys, we have Bradley Beal, but it's not as loaded because it's a 5-game slate.
Yeah, this is where, like, so like if you're somewhat new to NBA DFS, or if you're always wondering why we wait so long to post cores, like every night, it's post them earlier. And I do try to do that, but honestly, news is so important. So, like, the answer to your question right there depends on many different things. It depends on what happens with Jaylen Brown. If Jaylen Brown sits, we got to spend up for Jason Tatum. We probably already have to lock in Westbrook on the slate as well. So that's 2 studs that you're already paying up for. And then you have a decision with Curry. So those 3 guys alone eliminate Vucevic and spinning it up for Vucevic, especially when we have so many value center spots. So, like, that's why the answer depends. Like, if Jaylen Brown plays, you maybe can make the argument that, now you have a almost healthy Celtics team. Maybe we could pay up for Vucevic. So for me, it's waiting for some of this news and getting a better idea of who's going to play and who's not. And honestly, that game starts. Well, we should have that news. That game starts 30 minutes after the Bulls game. So I think we'll have an idea of which route we want to go before lock for sure.
Yeah, it also depends on Curry, right? Because, like, so let's say Oubre is in. That is going to cut away from Curry more than I think people realize. Since Oubre's been out, Curry's 3-point attempts have gone up an immense amount. He's been absolutely just firing. And of course, he's just picking up stats here and there that help to get to kind of get there along the way, right? He's not out there getting triple doubles every night, but he's definitely hitting that ceiling because he's able to pick up some stats here and there, and he's shooting more 3-point attempts. And that 3.5 adds up, right? So I do think that Curry is someone that I'm going to want to spend on. I'm going to also want to spend on a Westbrook, right? But if you got someone like Oubre who ends up putting himself in the lineup, it's going to be a little tougher to play Curry. And then if Jaylen Brown ends up being ruled out, then that's going to help those Celtic guys. So that news is going to be really important. Bobby, let me ask you about some of these Cavs. Are you running it back with any Cavs against the Bulls? We know they're not the best defensive team, but this is a pretty low total, right? It's the lowest on the slate at 212. I think it's better to stay away from this Cleveland team. How about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't have any love for any of these Cavs. Like you said, low total. Don't really feel like the need to go there. Can make cases for some of these guys, but with that total, it's really not for me. I was like kind of like Sexton a little bit occasionally, but just really not.
Hey, I got a question for both of you guys. Why is Colin Sexton constantly 7.5K on DraftKings? When's the last time he's paid off that price tag? Like he never does. I don't understand why he's constantly like this high. Like, I don't know. I mean, well, are you ever playing him?
It's actually funny. I played him on FanDuel I forget which slate it was. Against the Warriors, because that was that 4 or 5 game slate. And I didn't like the shooting guard position. You had to play 2 shooting guards. And I found a 2v2. It was like Halliburton and Harrison Barnes versus Sexton and Saric. And the reason I did it was because I wanted to run back, because I wanted to create a little more upside, and I didn't like that slate overall. And I did not want to play Harrison Barnes against Phoenix. I didn't think it was a good spot for him. So it actually ended up working out in my favor. But I think the reason his price hasn't moved, to answer your question, is because he just keeps hitting that 3 to 38 range. And it's like, he pays off the tag AP in cash, right? But he doesn't really pay it off in tournaments, right? He doesn't hit that ceiling for you. That's kind of the reason why. Do you think that's kind of the reason, Bobby?
Yeah, I play him occasionally if Garland sits, or if the other way around, Sexton, if Garland sits and I'm playing multiple teams. But yeah, he doesn't really hit that ceiling. That's what this total, I have no interest in this Cavs side pretty much.
Yeah, like I said, I had a little bit against the Warriors because that spot was sort of interesting. But, and again, it was I honestly just went out and did it to kind of be different because it was FanDuel and you're stuck playing 2 guys. DK, I would not touch him. It seems like a terrible idea on this slate. So I don't want to be playing any Cavs. I'll be crossing them off. Let's move on to the next game. I definitely don't want to cross off guys in this one. Definitely a game you want to get some exposure to. It's the Pistons and the Wizards. And my lineups have been coming with Bradley Beal, right? Every single day, I get a lineup AP or not Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook. He is preloaded into my lineups, right? I've been playing him every single time. It's been great. Bradley Beal is cheap at 8.3. I don't think I want to play Beal over Westbrook. I think if I want to play Beal, I'm just going to play both, right? And kind of game stack it up. That's how I approach it, AP. But is it Westbrook over Beal for you?
Yeah, I don't think it's close. I mean, this guy is, how is he only projected to be 22% owned? That has to be wrong. These ownership projections suck, in my opinion. I think he has to be popular. I'm definitely locking him in. I played him last night. The Pistons have enough to keep this close, and that's what we want. And I think we're going to get it. They're going to provide little resistance. If Westbrook's shot is off, I don't think the Pistons have the rim protection. We're not worried about Mason Plumlee. We're not even necessarily worried about Isaiah Stewart. He might be a little bit better than Plumlee at defending the rim, but Westbrook's going to get there. Either his shot's going down or he's getting to the rim. So I love Westbrook. I think he's a smash play. The guy that I'm also interested in is, they need to free Daniel Gafford. This guy is good. He never played, he never really played much when he was playing for the Bulls. We saw him finish this game off. He played 21 minutes, and then he played another 5 minutes of OT last night, and he put up 33, 34 DraftKings points. This dude is productive when he's on the court. I have a ton of interest in him in tournaments. Mangone, I got to throw it back to you because, is he even on your radar or not at all?
I like him. So I'm trying to, what was the last, they played the Pelicans the other night. So I actually made a team. I don't know why I made a team before I went to sleep the other night, right? I don't typically do that, but I was just messing around because I saw Pelicans and I saw it was Pelicans and Wizards. So I was like, oh, like, let me just make a game stack. And I just made a game stack and I sent it to my buddy and I said, okay, like I'll talk to you on Saturday, right? And Gafford was in there because of course, like Gafford was going to crush in that spot. And I wish I would have played him. That slate was just so crazy yesterday. And like so much news hit. I kind of like lost him in the shuffle and it was just a wild, wild lock. It was one of the craziest locks we've seen in a long time. But I don't think he's going to get lost in the shuffle for me today. He's definitely one of those cheap centers I'm looking at. The question is, what do you think of Gafford compared to, Plumlee, Thompson, Theis, Valanciunas, all these different centers? How do you grade him out against them? That's the real key here. I do like Gafford in this spot. I think he's in play, but you do worry about his minutes for some of these other guys. Like, I feel better about Tristan Thompson, I think, than like a guy like Gafford. Of course, it's a 1K price difference, but from a point per dollar perspective, I kind of lean Thompson there, I think, right now. AP, what do you think of that? Because I think that's the big.
Here we go. We got our guy. Pirtle's out tonight. So Drew, okay. The other value center I was very, closely considering was Drew Eubanks. He's been smashing. Yeah. Eubanks is like not even playing close to 20 minutes off the bench of late, but this dude has been smashing the last 3 games. I love it. He's going to get the start tonight. That's our answer right there. Like, look at this. Like the last 3 games, he hasn't touched 20 minutes, but he's got 31, 25, 26 DraftKings points. So, and he's 3.2K. I mean, if you want to completely punt, I think that is definitely your guy tonight.
Yeah, that's a great call there. Obviously, with the new news, it's gonna be crazy, man. Like I don't know what it's all gonna shake out to be, but like this is the problem. Like I just think paying up at center is gonna be a disaster because it's like it's not like there's 2 value centers, right? And then hey, like those 2 value centers, like one of them doesn't get there and then the other one works. Like there's so many value centers that I just think it's gonna work. Someone's gonna get there. I can't tell you which of the 5 or 6 are going to, but it feels like you need a lot of outs for that to work. Now, Bobby, you like to go contrarian. I know you do. Am I talking you into just playing the value centers, or do you still think maybe paying up at those centers is going to be better? Because my issue here is I just think there's so many value centers. 2 of them are going to find a way there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Eubanks is going to be a really good play now. In terms of like this, like I like Vooch still, but it's just like really, it makes it a lot more difficult to get to him, obviously. But this Westbrook like construction, you kind of have to differentiate it because everyone's going to be on it. So like maybe going to a Plumlee, I know it's his first night back. I know his minutes aren't going to, like his minutes never range over 30. Like how many minutes do you think he actually sees? If he sees 20 minutes at, I don't know, 4.9. It's a tough price tag. But yeah, I don't know. Like I prefer Westbrook construction, so I like want to differentiate somehow. It's just a matter of like where I'm going to go. And center seems like the best way to kind of differentiate. So maybe paying up for Vooch like isn't the worst play. Depends if you're playing multiple lineups. Obviously in cash, like you're definitely paying down at center. Like there's no way around it.
Yeah, we got news on Trey Lyles is out, Patty Mills is out, DeRozan is out, and then Demboya is now doubtful. So that could open up some stuff on the Pistons as well. So yeah, I don't know. We're not talking about the Spurs right now, but that's worth mentioning, obviously here because we're talking about the Pistons, and obviously Demboya being out could be interesting. You talked about Plumlee a little bit, Bobby. Jeremy Grant is a guy that I've seen popping a little bit as a value. I guess my question to you and kind of thinking through this slate, and I thought about it yesterday, like how many Pistons were too many Pistons? Same question kind of here. Do you want to like load up on these guys? I think there's a lot of volatility to these Pistons in general that now with this Spurs value opening up, that value might be better.
Yeah, there's a ton of volatility, but you have to embrace it in GBP, right? Like I don't mind a guy like Stewart, but he's difficult to say how many minutes he's going to see. Yeah, these Pistons are tough. Like, obviously, Spurs are going to make it become better plays now. But some of them I could see, like, just trying to get to, like, it's a short slate, right? So trying to get to maybe just, like, differentiating construction and running back some of these Westbrook builds with a Piston, I don't think is, like, the worst route. Like, it's definitely something, like, you can consider, like, with Corey I don't know. I don't mind Jeremy Grant at 6,500. He would be someone I'd have some interest in. AP, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think Grant's fine. 6,500. I think he's definitely a good play. He lets me down often, but and I always worry about what Dwayne Casey's going to do. But
yeah, I'm with you.
If this game stays close, Grant's going to get his minutes. And I mean, what did he do against them last time? He struggled against them last time. Only played 24 minutes, 22 fantasy points. Jeremy Grant pisses me off, man. I get him wrong all the time. This is going to be a very tough decision point for me. I mean, I don't know yet.
I definitely was like in the camp of liking Jeremy Grant on this slate, but the more I think about it, like I might just want to go to, because we're getting all this Spurs value, right? Like, for instance, Jeremy Grant was one of the mid-tier guys you could get in there. But let's say Jaylen Brown gets ruled out. Well, Kemba and Marcus Smart seem like mid-tier values I could look at. You can also make an argument for DeJounte Murray, who could be a better mid-tier value that you can go to now that we got all this news. You can also make an argument that let's say Oubre's out and Jaylen Brown is out. Maybe a Tatum, Westbrook, and Curry team, which is all the cheapies, could be a better route to go. So Jeremy Grant is definitely not as appealing as an option to me as he was at the start of the day because of some of this news opening things up. So we'll have to see, obviously, how lineups shake out. And I'll be on the DK Cash chart kind of updating that over at Run Pure Sports. If you haven't, guys, use the code GetBets. The Bets team is on fire. They got bets placed all day long. They got bets for the fights tonight, and they won 7 units yesterday. So you got to get in on that.
Yeah, Bets team has been absolutely crushing. I haven't been keeping up with that. They've been absolutely on fire. Joey Work, absolutely crushing.
Yep, they've been crushing it. And AP, you were on the bet show yesterday, right? So I believe the Knicks hit yesterday. So tell the people a little bit about the bet show and that.
Yeah, we did good. So our spread, he had the Knicks side. I was on the Heat over. That was only 221. That game went way over that number. We gave out a lot of winners. It was a good show for sure.
Yep, definitely. Tons of winners being given out. Use the code GetBets. It's $80 for the month for DFS. And then if you use the code GetBets, you get a free month of the bet side. So don't miss out on that. Anything else you guys want to talk about with this game with the Wizards and Pistons, AP?
No, I once we get to the Spurs game, I'll have some crazy takes for you guys.
Yeah, I mean that's where a lot of the ownership I think is going to shift now. And it's a 10 o'clock game too. The worst part is we're gonna have to wait on that news and wait on the lineup too. So there's going to be some craziness going on with that, I'm sure. Popovich is lurking on a Saturday night. What could go wrong? Golden State Warriors, Boston Celtics here. We got a 3.5 spread, 227 total, one of the higher totals on the slate. Not the highest one, but still a good one to get some exposure to because we have Jaylen Brown questionable. We have Kelly Oubre questionable. We're waiting on that news. Bobby, how are you handling this game here?
Yeah, Jaylen's out. Like it's a full go for me with Tatum. Definitely would consider Kemba and Smart also. Kemba, I think, has been playing well. Tatum has just really turned it on of late, and he would be a can't miss play. I think in cash games and in tournaments for that matter. It would just be difficult really to get away from him. Also think Tristan Thompson would get a boost just because obviously Robert Williams is out. I don't know how I feel about him at 4,500 now, but he did all right for me at 41 the other night, so I don't really hate that. And on the other side, Steph, like 10-3 on DK. Maybe he's a pivot off Russ, but I don't know if I want to pivot off Russ tonight. Just feel like Russ is in a really good spot, but in tournaments you can make that case. That would pretty much be it. Maybe some Draymond. AP, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, so when I look at this, all right, so first off, Steph Curry has been on absolute fire, a matchup nightmare. So if we let's just look at who he's played though. So he's played Cleveland, that easy matchup. He played the Thunder without Lou Dort. I wanted to see Lou Dort chasing around Curry because I wanted to. I mean, Curry just hasn't missed, but he's had a lot of cupcake matchups. The Nuggets, we said that day, one of the arguments was the Nuggets at that time did not have the backcourt to defend a guy like Curry. That's going to be their one weakness. They have a solid front court, but a true shooter like Curry, they're going to struggle with. Houston, same thing. The Wizards, same thing. So he hasn't had any resistance of late. Now he gets Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, I don't know if you guys have seen the highlights of Marcus Smart of late. This dude is all over the court. I mean, did you see that highlight of him where he like went for a steal and then, fell out of bounds or whatever, and they were running the play and like he was completely out of the play. Then he sprints back all the way to the other side of the court, gets the steal, and like no one saw him coming out anywhere. So like I do think that you can make the case to, if it's Curry versus Westbrook, I'm going to take Westbrook all day. I'm really interested to see this matchup because I do think Boston, especially if Jaylen Brown plays, they have the backcourt to throw guys at Curry. So if Curry's whenever Curry's on the court, you'd see Marcus Smart on the court. Even if Marcus Smart got into foul trouble, you're going to see Jaylen Brown switch over to him, but Jaylen Brown's questionable, obviously. So I think it's an interesting matchup. And I have interest in this game, but I'm going to prioritize Westbrook over Curry. You got to love Curry's price tag. You got to love his form. And I mean, it's incredible. I mean, no way they put Kimba on Curry, right? Like that would be an absolute disaster.
No way.
What you do is you make Wiggins or Oubre beat you. That's what you do. Like if you give Kelly Oubre more shots, like his 3-point shot has sucked, absolutely sucked. You make those guys beat you. If you put Kimba on Curry, the Celtics are going to get absolutely torched. So I like this game. I think the other thing, my main thing too, is if Brown plays, we either see Jason Tatum go off or Jaylen Brown go off. You rarely see them go off together. So if I'm making multiple builds, I'm playing one or the other. That's just kind of how I'm doing it.
I think that makes a ton of sense. You do need the injury news on those guys. That's going to be really important there. You could make a case like a Bazemore. He was like a value on some past slates, and like price hasn't really gone up that much. So you could make a case that like if Oubre's still out, he could get a little overlooked, but it's probably not the right slate to go there on someone like him. I thought you brought up pretty good points about Wiggins, that he could obviously put up a ton of shots. Just depends if you want to pay that price tag. And then the Celtics, obviously, Tatum and Brown. I want Brown to be out so I can load up on some of these other guys. Bobby, how are you handling these Celtics and Warriors here?
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be Tatum if Brown's out. A little bit of Kemba. I don't mind Curry. I just think like AP kind of broke it down. Like they're going to throw the kitchen sink at him. So it's kind of tough. It's going to be very difficult for him to get there. I kind of get it in tournaments. It's just going to be obviously a tough road and a tough roster and for him to like make his ceiling.
Would you run guys back together? I guess like that's probably the big question. Like, cause it's definitely a game that could interact really well with each other, right? Like if Curry's popping off, obviously it could be a blowout one way, but you could see Tatum also be popping off as well at the same time. And if you're playing a Curry and a Tatum, like getting those other studs are going to be tough to get in there, especially if you game stack it, right? Because part of me feels like Curry and Draymond correlate really well, I've noticed. It feels like whenever they kind of have big games and they're in competitive games, they do well together. So what if I played a Draymond, Curry, and a Tatum together? Well, then I don't have Westbrook, and that's a problem in my opinion, but it's something that I could see correlating really well together on this slate.
Yeah, and it would be a way to differentiate the Westbrook instruction, like just leaving them off and kind of stacking up this game. I don't hate that as a tournament take at all. I think that's a really sharp take.
Yeah, and Ian, you won't see Westbrook probably not on my team, but I mean, we'll have to see. Something crazy will have to happen for him not to be there. And I noticed we got people asking K Fallick in the Discord chat about the Spurs charts. I'm sure he'll take care of you guys. Everyone's asking where he is because they need to know what's going to go on with the Spurs here. But luckily, we can go to the next game, and then after that, we'll talk to AP about all of the Spurs charts. He'll take care of us while K Fallick is doing that. But before we get there, AP, let's talk with the Grizzlies and the Bucks. It's a 238 total. And man, for being a 238 total and the highest total on the slate, I really want to avoid this one, AP. Not completely avoid it, but I think the Bucks side, I'm scared to roster guys because those price tags are up since Giannis has been out. I also don't trust Giannis is going to get his minutes, and I like these other stars in this slate, so I'm full pass on the Bucks. And then I guess I'm sprinkling some Grizzlies maybe, but again, we talked about it. Valanciunas' price, I don't think I need to go there because there's so many value centers. I think you could mix and match a Kyle Anderson if a Brandon Clark is out, maybe a Dylan Brooks, but I don't really want to load up on too many guys in this game, and it's the highest total on the slate, AP.
Yeah, I don't really like this game either. I would almost lean the under here. Like we saw the Bucks play pretty good defense against the Hawks, and Giannis, he was somewhat of a popular play last time out, but obviously they're kind of managing his minutes of rotation coming off that injury. I also don't like this matchup too much for Giannis, especially with Valanciunas in the paint. Like I don't think it's a good matchup for him. And then, yeah, you said it perfectly, correctly. Like Middleton's 8.4, Holiday is 8.6. Like I would have interest in them if Giannis was out, but I mean, those that's what they're priced for. I think they're easy fades. And then, man, like you're not, I mean, you could like Teague got more run, Pat Con got more run, but like I don't know if I want to play those guys. So I think the Bucks side is kind of, I'm not going to prioritize anyone. If like a guy randomly fit, like even Lopez now, like he looked good, but he has a very low floor. So like he needs to hit those threes like he has been. He's looked good from 3-point range, but he definitely has to hit those threes to hit value. So like I could definitely see myself fading the Bucks outside of maybe a value play, but that means I'm playing Teague, which I hate. I don't think he's a good play at all. And then, or you're playing Pat Connaughton, which again, I think there's better value. And then the Grizzlies side, really tough too. Do we really want to play like a Dylan Brooks, who again is shot dependent? And, the Bucks, they have pretty decent perimeter defense. And Dylan Brooks, he chucks from 3-point range. So if he's not making his threes, then you're kind of dust with him. And Kyle Anderson, I just don't play him. So, like, I'm not going to go there. I just can't see myself playing him. I think the one guy I could see myself playing is Grayson Allen in this game. He's 4.2. He's just quietly had a pretty good season. And he has a pretty nice floor when he's in there. So he's definitely the one guy. If he, was like my last one or two guys in as a value play, I could see me playing him. But outside of that, I'm probably full fading this game.
Yeah, I think I'm probably not going to load up on this game, but if I was ranking these guys, I think I'd go Anderson, probably go Grayson Allen, and then Dylan Brooks. But and again, these are guys I don't really want to load up on. Bobby, how would you rank those Memphis guys, those three? And then how are you handling this game? Because again, 238 total, and it feels like it's going to be unowned.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of love for this game. I'd say, honestly, I think someone I might have like a little bit of interest in. That's like, I think Allen's a good call. Maybe Xavier Tillman also would be someone that I'd consider. And Kyle Anderson, I'd probably go Allen, Tillman, Anderson, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a lot of love for this game or Memphis. Yeah, it's kind of a tough pass for me on this slate.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big issue if you're rostering like a game stack on this slate. Like, I think this is a disaster.
The weird thing is, though, no one's going to own this game, and the total's 236.5. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, right? It's the problem is there's too much value, and I think based on everything that's happened, Giannis being out, right, and all those prices have gone up on those guys. Also on the other side, just like, I don't need to roster these Memphis guys, and I just think there's such strong value plays that you don't need to go there. That's kind of the reasoning behind it right now, I would say, for me. But that'll really wrap it up. I don't want to talk about this game too much more. I want to get the AP. I want to get the chart man, right? I don't know if you're filling in for him, AP, but you are excited about the Spurs. You said you got some hot takes. So
I mean, I don't know about excited. That might be pushing it, Mangone.
You said you got hot takes. So, I mean, that's what we're here for.
Well, okay. I mean, is Gorgie Jang, is he active? Like, this Gorgie Jang is the like king of scrub time. This is a dude that's like, when no one's in there, it's a blowout. This dude just like wants the ball. And he reminds me of what was it? Lance Stevenson, who like the game, they're down by like 20 points they're up by 20 points. All the scrubs were in and he steals the ball, makes a layup with like 5 seconds left in a game to put his team up by like 22. And then there was almost a fight after it. So like, he's kind of like him in that he's just the king of scrub time. So that's a hot take because I do think Drew Eubanks will be the popular guy. But if he ends up sucking, like you could see some of these random guys. There's Lucas. I mean, that guy probably sucks. So I don't know. I think the Suns are going to absolutely destroy them. That I know for sure. If somehow they keep it close, you have to think like DeJounte Murray has a big game. But man, like I really respect Mikal Bridges as a defender. And it's not even like Mikal Bridges alone. They got Jay Crowder, they got Chris Paul. Like you got 3 strong defenders there that just, I mean, Chris Paul kind of coaches them up out when they're out there on the court. You got Mikal Bridges, he's got a lot of length. And so like man, it's a tough spot for the Spurs. I think what you could see is like a rotation where everyone plays like 25, 26 minutes, one of those really weird pop rotations where he tries to get a bunch of people mixed in. So definitely a lot of concern with this spot in this game.
Yeah, well, I think they have more bodies than people realize, right? And that's also not like the sexiest game to target, right? Like, who wants to really be targeting the Suns defensively? Like,
yeah, you know what I'd rather do, Mangone, is I would rather play like a campaign or a Cam Johnson for the Suns, who, if they're playing good and if they have a lead early on, we've seen the Suns extend their minutes, like, so they'll get more first half run if they're, say, up by like 10 or 12 points and playing well, and then they'll get some extended run before they put in the complete studs. So, like, I would have some interest in like a campaign or Cam Johnson.
He's been a guy I've been targeting a little bit. Campaign. I had him last game against the Kings, and that was on that really gross slate, and I needed some value. And I thought, yeah, there's a chance the game could blow out. And even if it didn't blow out, I think the beauty with Campaign is the game could not blow out, and he could play well and still get there. That was like the thing I thought. I think there's a lot of outs with him. And I love that call with Campaign. He's someone that I'm definitely going to look at on this slate if I need value. Now, I don't know if this is the right slate for it. It feels like it maybe won't be, and I won't need to go there, but depends how it shakes out. We'll have to see, obviously, with news, but he's definitely someone I have kind of on my radar of a cheap value play that I might kind of take a shot on here and there. So definitely be looking at him. I do think on the Spurs side, there's a lot of guys, and there could be too many guys, right? There still could be enough where Popovich could mess around with it, and he could just kind of give some breaks to people. He could maybe only run Murray for 28 minutes, not, 36, right? It just would not surprise me if that happens. Let me see. I wonder if the Spurs are on a back-to-back. I'll check that out, or if they have a game tomorrow, because that's going to matter. I wouldn't really want to pay for Derek White at 6'5", but Bobby, I'll go over to you. How are you handling all these Spurs and kind of figuring out this news? Because there's opportunity here, but there's also some volatility as well.
Yeah, definitely some volatility with Popovich kind of closing out the slate. I like the Eubanks call that AP had earlier. Like, I think that's really sharp. I like going to Eubanks. On the other side, like, not really much. Like, where do we, in terms of like this, like, who's done me right previously from the Spurs? Like, literally no one. So I don't know. I'm not really getting to many Spurs in general. Like, maybe DeJounte. I don't know, back to back. If I don't want to take up a point guard spot on DeJounte. Like, that doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah. By the way, it's on the second night of back-to-back, and then they play again on Monday. So it's like a 3-4, which could be part of the reason why they're sitting some of these guys.
I think Eubanks would pretty much be the guy that would stand up the most to me. That would be kind of the call for me. AP, any other thoughts in around this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
totally crushed my dreams in situations like this previously. So
it's definitely Eubanks, I think, for the most part. I don't know. Maybe you could get behind, like for instance, if I'm going to play some of these Spurs, I like kind of like AP's thought on, like, let me play like a Gorgie Dang for 3K, right? Like that. Those are the guys I would look at. I know he's making fun of the Luka Samanic dude, but like, I'd rather take a shot on him than like a Derek White, right? Especially at like a power forward position. Like, I'm not someone that loves the roster power forwards that much. Like, on this slate, like here are the power forwards I'm thinking of, right? Like, of course, you can always make a case for Giannis. No. Tatum, if there's no Jaylen Brown. Yeah, we talked about Draymond. He's okay. But, of course, we know there's some floors with him. Like, Jeremy Grant, we talked about our concerns with him. Kyle Anderson, we liked him, but we don't love him. Like, honestly, maybe I want to punt the position completely and go to one of these guys like a Luka Samanic, right? If he's going to get the start, it could be interesting. I would rather punt with a Spur, because if they get me like 10 or 12 fantasy points and really dud, I feel like I can overcome it in other areas rather than pay for like a Derek White at 6.5K and get like a 20 or 22 and I'm absolutely dead. You get what I'm saying there, AP?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, all right, so like, here's how you play this though too. Like, if you think the Suns are an overrated team, then you stack up the studs on the Spurs side, because if they do keep it close, it has to be because DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Kelden Johnson go off. I personally don't think that that's going to happen. I want to fade those guys. I think it's very unlikely that they do. And so I will be playing the value pieces, like you said. But if you're not a believer in this Suns team, play up DeJounte Murray, Derek White, and Kelden Johnson. It's kind of like the Charlotte take of last night. So like, I was on Terry Rozier and some of Miles Bridges, and those guys smashed. I think it's a different spot though, because I think it was a Nets team that, let their guard up in the early on, which is what the bet side thought would happen. And that's what I played. They kept it close enough through 3. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. I think the Suns come out and just kind of lay the hammer down and blow them out, and we get an ugly game. So I'm going to be leaning the value here for sure.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. We also have something on the bet side where they put money on the Suns in the first quarter. Obviously, you can't get that line anymore, but we were ahead on the curve there. So another reason to sign up for the bet side. Also, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got like almost 400 watching, only 76 likes. So super hurtful. And who knows, we might have to hold the plays of the day and just keep them for the subscribers in the Discord chat, especially with the news coming later. That might have to be the move. So impressed me over the last couple minutes here, and maybe we'll change that. But I do have a question, Bobby. What about Kelden Johnson? Again, I know you don't love rostering Spurs, but we've seen Kelden Johnson have ceiling games, right? He has had 20 rebound games in the past. It happened once this season. Now, I don't think today is the day for that, but with guys being out, I think Kelden Johnson could see a boost, and he is cheap, 5.1K. So what would you do with him?
Yeah, 5,100. How does he fit in a basically construction for me? Like you could play him at power forward. I don't hate that. Kelden Johnson's fine. It's just like he's not a guy I get to a ton. I don't really play a ton of these Spurs. You have to make that decision. Usually, I've been on the wrong end of pop. Could be recency bias, but is what it is. I just kind of stay away. But I don't hate the Kelden Johnson call. He's definitely going to be low owned, so don't hate getting there.
One more guy that wasn't mentioned was Lonnie Walker, which I see someone mentioned in the chat. Tanky Lockhart, he said Lonnie Walker chalk. Now, the thing with Lonnie Walker on these slates always, the key with him is, so he's 3.5K, right? And the reason why he ends up getting a boost here normally is because he's a guy that always sees that like low teens and like low 20s minutes, or high teens and low 20s minutes. And he's also guard and forward eligible, which gives him a lot of routes to kind of get into lineups, which I think he could be a really interesting play. What would you do with him, AP? Because he's someone that I typically kind of roster in these spots. I don't think he's a bad play here. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I don't think he's a bad play either, because he's going to get minutes. Like, he's going to have higher, we saw him just the other night, like come out and hit, like I watched him hit like 3 threes in a row or something. I mean, the shot looked good. Maybe it was 2 threes in a row against the Magic, and then he faltered off. So like, I do think there's some risk there, but he's 3.5K. Like, I don't think he's going to be the guy that like fully tanks your lineup. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's going to definitely make the playbook. He's going to make the player pool. I think he's a fine play.
Yeah, he's definitely someone I'm going to be considering strong for sure. And again, it's just because the guard and forward eligibility, 3.5K, and there's a lot of different value plays on this slate where ownership might get a little spread out tonight. Bobby, what do you think of him, and what do you think of any of these other guys? Like, are you running it back with any Suns? We haven't talked about that. I think it's a good idea not to, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, 3.5. Like, if he's going to start getting ownership, then yeah, I'm going to consider him. I don't mind Lonnie Walker. Like AP said, he looks for his shot, so you don't hate that. But yeah, in terms of like running it back with, I actually think the Suns are pretty good, so I'm not like really trying to get too much exposure. I'm on the other side of AP. Like, I think they're better. I think they're going to get into the playoffs. Devin Booker is going to get his first playoff series win. I think so. I don't mind the Suns team. I think this could end up being a blowout. But yeah, Lonnie Walker, I don't hate it. 3.5. If he's going to gain ownership, he can get there.
Yep. And AP's answering questions in the chat. Jim said, "Should I fade ABC tonight?" And AP,
yeah,
make the case for why you should fade him, because I don't want to play him, and I agree. I don't think you play him.
I think there's better spend up options. I think, and then he's got they're obviously managing him. We saw it last time. He played 24 minutes, and it was a close game against the Hawks. I mean, it was a close game until the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter. So they're obviously managing him. So he played 24. You got to figure they bump him to 28, 29. I don't think they're going to push him for 30 plus. So when we can get Westbrook, who's going to play the entire game almost, even on a back-to-back, who's been crushing, I would rather play him.
Yeah, and another point too, like, so with Giannis, like I made fun of Title all the time. Title would say to me, "Oh man, the Bucks look so good in that regular season win," and I say, "Title, the games don't matter. Talk to me in the playoffs." So now Title goes back to me. You know what he says? He says, Regular season games, it don't matter. Talk me in the playoffs, just like I said. And that's what the Bucks are doing, right? Giannis is resting up now. He's trying to be ready. And like, it's our fault. We always like say, oh, it's championship or bust for these teams. These MVPs don't matter. It's like, well, now Giannis is going to rest it up. So don't worry about playing him. I'm kind of with you there, AB. Bobby, you play 150 lineups sometimes. I don't know if you're doing it today. Is Giannis making the pool at all for you?
I wouldn't have much Giannis today. I'm not playing 150 today. Playing a little baseball. But yeah, I don't. 150. Probably just gonna play one NBA lineup. I don't know. I'm just not really gonna get. I'm not gonna get to Giannis in my one build. Westbrook's just too good of a play, it seems.
Yep. Just take Westbrook. Preload him in all of your lineups. AP, we got 385 watching and 103 likes. Are we giving out the plays or are we holding them off? I mean, we do have some time too, so it might not be a bad idea to hold them off as well. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let one of you guys make the call on that. I'm still trying to figure out what my kind of play of the day is going to be. I don't necessarily know yet. We got a lot of time until lock tonight, so
I'm going to say this: the chat didn't impress me, right? Like, sure, I maybe didn't say like and subscribe as much as I normally do, right? But like, you got to come in firing, right? It's a Saturday. I expect the loyal crew to be in here, and if the loyal people are here, like the like button should be hit before we're even on the show, right, AP?
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. I agree. I just, there's so many things that could change from now until, until the slate locks up with news. So it's like, it'd be hard to say a play, because whenever I like make my, like last night, Terry Rozier was my guy, and I suck with it. But if you get crazy news, it's like, man, we got to replace it and we got to move off of that. So I think we hold off and wait. We mentioned it in our core plays or in the Discord. I think that's the way to go tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. And if you want to get the plays, right, if you want to get Bobby's plays, you want to get mine, AP's, I'll be doing the DK cash chart. We'll have core plays for you. Head on over to Run Pure Sports. Go sign up now. $80 a month. And you get not just NBA, right? We'll give you every single sport. UFC starts in an hour, right? Go read Titletown's playbook and get it on those winners. There's awesome stuff over here.
That's where everyone is. Everyone's building their MMA lineups right now.
That's probably it.
That's probably right.
Yeah, the MMA stuff. Mine's already built. I asked some people, hey, how's this look? And we'll see how it goes. And man, I'm hoping. I have not had a good stretch in MMA, so we'll have to see. I've been trying to get a little contrarian and work on some tournament stuff, and has not worked for myself, but we'll try it again today. Hopefully I'll have that screenshot life in the MMA streets today. We have all the content, though, that you need at Run Pure Sports. NASCAR tomorrow, right? MLB show for free tomorrow over here. So if you subscribe to the video, you'll be able to watch that tomorrow. We got the NBA show. JSU and Titletown will be here. We'll be here bringing you all of those winners. So be sure to check all that out. But that'll wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. For me, Mangone, AP, and BobbyGomes. See you guys later.